So can someone tell me if that fixed it? Oh, okay. All right. Well, sorry about that. Let me review really quickly because um, I'm amazed I got that to fix because I'm not the most technical person. And so when something comes up, I'll be the first one to say, I don't know what to do. So let me just really quickly review what I'm going to show you about the canvases. So these canvases that I bought, because I was trying to explain that if you're going to do acrylic, it needs to be on something that doesn't. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm glad I actually paid attention to the chat. So these canvas panels, to backtrack and summarize, I was trying to find new projects to work with acrylic paint because it's pretty inexpensive and it does all kinds of really great stuff too. And it's another great medium to become more fluent in. But if you're going to use acrylic paint, you might as well use like canvas boards, right? Because acrylic on paper is just going to warp and stuff. So I got these canvas boards. This is the panel kind that you can get. They come in all different kinds of sizes. And this is the actual board. So this one is 4 inches by 4 inches. And it costs, I think, like 30 cents for each one. This one is a 3 by 3, and it costs 81 cents. So that's because it's got sides to it. So I just was thinking that if you're going to do that on a canvas, then you might as well, use the acrylic paint. And so what I was trying to do is something really, really, really simple by painting and drawing the pumpkin shape. So it's easy to paint shapes with acrylic, pretty easy, but the tricky part is trying to paint a line with acrylic. And even if you have really good brushes, it's just so hard to do it. It's hard for me to do it, so I know it'd be hard for kids to do it. So the catch with trying to get some definition to a pumpkin is to then use a different tool to add some definition to it. So what I was explaining was this was produced just by drawing very, very lightly in pencil on the blank canvas, and then painting the orange pumpkin, painting the green, painting the stem, being very careful to try to not have those colors too much into each other, but having small little brushes is going to help, like this kind of size, that little. So after that is painted and then dried, then we can get out and use the grease pencils that I was talking about. So these I found on Amazon. I was looking for something for another project, but then I had no idea that they made such a thing. So they look like this. They actually have that paper that tears off. And what it does is makes this it's like a grease, a grease line. And when you have your pumpkin like this, and you have your grease pencil, what you can do is draw, like I would draw first the line here, like this, and like that, just to set up your lines, just to have a placeholder where they are, kind of like that. And then you can come back and press really hard. And what I like is that you get some texture from these. So I don't know how many different colors you can get in these grease pencils. I do know they make black and they make white. I wish they made dark orange. That'd be really cool. But you see that you can go over that and you get this nice soft edge. You can also go around the pumpkin on the outside. It kind of looks like it's glowing then. And it starts to look like that. So I was really happy with the results because it allows, you don't have to have any special drawing skills to do this. It's just drawing some lines, and then it's having fun making those textured lines on there. And if you, like I said, you could just put them on the inside, but if you put them around the outside, then it kind of looks like it's glowing, like that. So that's my basic idea for making a very, very simple pumpkin painting that just takes a very pumpkin shape and then lets students add some definition with these grease pencils. I forget, those are pretty inexpensive too. Maybe, I don't know, $5 or $6 for a box that has about 12 of them in, something like that. I don't remember exactly. Don't quote me on that, but I know they were certainly at a price that probably, most teachers could kind of handle. So that's all that it takes to make this kind of very basic pumpkin. I was thinking I might try to do something other for Christmas too, like a Christmas tree and maybe some lights or something. Or I wish I had made green. I'll have to find out how many different colors this comes in, but I just kind of like the combination of putting those two together. So if you have any questions on that process so far, drop them in, because if not, I will go on and show you more about those easels in a moment. I think I might also explain about the price too, that this is, I think, 30 cents. Oh, this is 4x4, and the smaller one is 3x3. So it's the same process where you draw it and then paint the orange and the grass and the sky and then draw on there. But it has this nice little edge. I always like those because they look like real canvases. So if there are no questions about that, then I will explain a little bit more about my craft stick easels. And because I was, I think, explaining that while the sound was not working, then I can kind of go over this process again. I started experimenting a couple of years ago, trying to make things trying to make an easel that had a little bit more of a substantial look to it, because I know people have been making triangle easels for years and years out of popsicle sticks, but I thought you could just make them look a little more substantial, like a real easel, the ones that are kind of big and heavy and you'd find in an art room or something. So what I did, this project is on my website. It's called, I think, Craft Stick Easel. And all it is all you need to get are the regular craft sticks, the average size ones. They have jumbo and whatever, but these are just your excuse me, I think 5-inch ones. And then you need some of these smaller ones that are, I think, just like 2 inches or something like that, mini craft sticks. So what I did to make this, I made 3 longer legs. So this back leg is made of 2 that are overlapped. There's about 2-inch gap here. It's all in my instructions for my tutorial. But just so you know, you're basically making 3 extended legs. This one is a double, and that's a double, and that's a double. And then you're attaching those regular sticks across the front. They kind of sit right under that ledge that's been made. Then I added another stick right in here. You don't really have to have that. I just think it looks a little more stronger, just visually, having something in the middle. And then finally, the last thing to do is to attach the back leg. I did have to cut off, I used like a really strong scissors to snip off just the rounded end of that, and then use some craft glue, put it on here, let it sit for like an hour or so, and then it was sturdy. You don't have to have hot glue. You can use just this. I use this craft glue, and it's so much easier. You just have to be a little more patient with it. But you don't have to have a glue gun for it. That is messy, I think, and I have used them before. But this dries, and if you just do it and then let it set, it's as sturdy as can be when you're done. Oh, the canvases, I bought them on Amazon. So I think they used to have them at Michael's, but the packets they have there it costs a lot more. You could get like 6, and if you go on Amazon, you're getting it from some other company that will put like 50 in a box. So if you want to try it out, go to Michael's. If you wanted to get a whole bunch of them, like I think what I found, there's like a company that sells like 72 of these. So, but once you have this done, this is my tall easel. That's perfect for this 4-inch canvas here because that will sit right on there and make a really cool looking little art show. Then I did make a smaller easel too, like this one. This is just a little variation of what I've done before. It's just the legs are just one stick high instead of extending them. So I did that. I have the little shelf on the bottom, and then I glued a little extra mini stick there so that I had like an edge to put underneath it, so that because it just made it look a little more finished. You can see that. It's so from the side. I glued this, and again, the craft glue does a really good job of doing that. It sets up in about a minute or so, and then I had to cut off the end of this one to that end so that it made a secure kind of attachment there. So this one then is perfect for the smaller canvas, which is, this is the 3-inch size. So I think that makes a really cute display. So, oops, I like the idea of these little mini canvases because I always keep thinking that having a little art show would be great. It may not be in the budget for your average elementary class, but if you had a club or you had a special project, who knows, Mother's Day or something like that, or a holiday gift or something, it's not that expensive. Certainly this one is a little more steep, like 81 cents, but getting one of these for 30 cents is a pretty good deal. So those are my ideas for working with acrylic on canvas. And just to review, let me see, I got my things from Amazon. I used just these craft paints from Michael's. I recommend using these really skinny brushes. I got one of those bags that had like 50 of them, really little ones like this. And then I know sometimes people like this as a matte finish because it's matte paint. But if you wanted to make it shiny, you could spray it with, some kind of acrylic spray or cover it with Mod Podge and give it a shine too. So that's that. If you have any other questions or if anything else you'd like that you're working on in your classrooms, I'd love to learn about that. Otherwise, if not, then I know you guys all have full Sundays going on too, and I will save this for something that other people can replay. So, all right, well, thank you so much for joining me. And like I said, email me at any time. My email is, what pencils again? Oh, yeah, good question. They're called grease pencils. It doesn't have to be the Sharpie brand. They're all different kinds that are made, but it's just, I think it's made for, where's one? This one. They're like this, and they have this little string so that you tear this off because you can't sharpen it, but I think it's made to write on china and glass. So maybe it's people that are, marking things up that they want to be able to get rid of, like something, if they can't use a permanent marker on something. So that's getting pretty long, but I think students would be just fine with this. They may need just a little bit of help of pulling this down when it gets kind of dull, but I've used this for a day already and didn't have to, and the tip worked just fine for me. So, all right. Well, thank you, folks. And I appreciate you coming. Next time I will learn to check my sound first, but I appreciate the help. And thanks again. And if you have any questions, email me at kathybarbaro@gmail.com or visit my website, Art Projects for Kids. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.